Hello everyone, welcome to Solitaire Podcast Episode 2. At Solitaire Podcast, we invite industry veterans because real transformation stories don't come from theory. They come from experience. Veterans have seen multiple business cycles, technology waves, successes and failures, and their insights go far beyond textbook knowledge. They bring credibility, practical wisdom, and battle-tested perspective on leadership, growth, and reinvention. For our audience, this means learning not just from what works, but why it works and how to navigate challenges with clarity and confidence in rapidly evolving business landscape. Friends, today's theme is Reinvent to stay relevant in the fast-paced world of digital transformation. We have chosen this theme because change today is no longer gradual, it's experiential. Technologies like AI, automation, data intelligence, and immersive collaboration are reshaping industries faster than ever. And organizations that depend only on their past success face a high risk of becoming outdated and irrelevant. In my opinion, reinvention is not just about adopting new tools. It's about rethinking business models, leadership mindset, customer engagement, talent management, and skill building strategies. In this podcast, we explore how leaders and professionals can continuously adapt, innovate, and future-proof themselves to remain competitive and impactful in an era defined by constant disruption. Friends, let me introduce our special guest today, Mr. Rajiv Bhalla, a seasoned technology executive and strategic leader with over 3 decades of leadership experience in the technology industry. Mr. Rajiv currently serves as Managing Director at 𝐒𝐿𝐻𝐾, a Swiss technology leader for efficient and ergonomic workplace solutions, where he drives business growth and innovation in mission-critical technology solutions. Previously, he held senior leadership role including Vice President APAC, large video experience, and Managing Director for India at Barco Electronics, where he shaped business strategy and expanded the company's footprint in the India market. With an academic foundation in electronics engineering and MBA from IMI New Delhi, Rajiv has also held key roles at global tech leaders including Intel, Microsoft, and NEC, building deep expertise across B2B and B2C domain. His career marked by driving transformational growth, fostering innovation, and leading high-impact teams in dynamic market. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Rajiv Bhalla in this podcast. Thank you very much, Rajiv, for joining us today in this show. I think you're excited as well, the way we are.
I'm honestly delighted to be here, Ramya, and delighted just to see how you have reinvented yourself. So we'll talk more about that later, but just happy to be here.
Thank you, Rajiv. It's our pleasure to have you in this podcast show. See, the idea is to bring industry leaders and veterans like you who will share experience with our audience, so that at the end of the day we learn something out of this discussion and make it exciting. Well, so the format which I'm planning to follow in this podcast, Rajiv, I will be asking you some questions related to this topic, and I want you to share your practical experience, a kind of 30 years of time you have spent in this industry, and it would be valuable for all of us to learn from you. So my first question to you, digital transformation is a buzzword now, right? Now, what does it actually mean to you today?
Well, Ramya, I think it's my firm belief that every company today needs to be a digital company, right? Digital transformation is in many ways reinventing how you create value, how you deliver value, and how value is evolved. It's not only about digitizing processes. To me, digital transformation means really reimagining the essence of the business, using your entire gamut of digital capabilities to drive operational efficiency, enhance productivity, create more value, and at the end, delight the customers.
Excellent. Next question to you. How much leaders reinvent themselves before they can reinvent their organization?
Well, that's a great question. When I look at you today as a leader, leading Pro in Tech and your stuff around interactive whiteboards, I think you are a classic example of someone who's reinvented himself, right? I'm reminded of these lines by this famous writer and a futurist called Alvin Toffler. And he said, well, in the 21st century, the illiterate are not going to be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Excellent.
So in many ways, I think all of us as leaders or even as individuals in today's dynamic world need to, embed a DNA of learning in ourselves. We need to be continuously and consistently learning, unlearning, and relearning. We need to stay curious and always challenge status quo. I've had that discussion with you, and one has to always be hungry for growth. And if you want to be hungry for growth, you've got to be looking out at what are the new trends and how are you going to address those new trends. Again, in today's day and age where change is a constant, you need to embrace change and you need to embrace technology, because if you're scared of technology, then you're not going to be able to ride the change bandwagon. And I always believe that in today's world, when you become a successful leader, sometimes you become your own worst enemy.
Absolutely.
To really reinvent yourself, you need to see reality or dare to see reality the way it is, rather than seeing reality the way you want to see it.
Very true.
Very often, if you're successful, you say, hey, nobody understands business better than I do. Nobody understands the market scenario better than I do. And I think that's the start of the downfall. So in today's day and age, I think you need to be open-minded, you need to respect divergent views, and you need to be consistently learning if you need to reinvent yourself.
Excellent. Well, coming to the next question. So you tell me, do you think digital transformation is all about technology, or it's essentially the mindset?
So digital transformation essentially to me is more about mindset, right? You can just implement digital tools, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you're not willing to reimagine the essence of your business, and if you're just going to be trying to implement those tools without driving a cultural transformation or a behavioral transformation, digital transformation will fail.
Yeah. So, there is a saying if you keep on doing the stuff in the same way, what you have done in the past, you will get the similar kind of result in future as well. So, in the time of, digital transformation, we face difficulties in large organizations. It's mindset problems. As you rightly mentioned, mindset is the key things. So now, specific question to you: how do you drive change in teams that are comfortable with how things have always been done? You can probably take examples of some of the large organizations you work with, like Microsoft or Intel or any of the world. You can take some live example and share your thoughts with us.
So, essentially, I think if you want to drive change in teams that have been doing things in the past in a particular way, you start not with the tools, but you start with highlighting why change is unavoidable, right? You create a sense of urgency by highlighting what is at risk if you do not change.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very crucial.
Yeah.
Again, when you're driving the change, it's important to highlight that whilst you respect the past and you respect the way things were done in the past, if we continue to do things the same way, we are not going to move ahead. And as a leader, it's crucial that you role model the change. You reward or encourage the early adopters. You build case studies around certain early wins or early successes so that you motivate the larger team.
Very true.
I think that becomes exceedingly crucial. And at the end of it, I think you embed the DNA of learning in that organization, right? You kind of encourage experimentation. You remove the fear of failure. It's okay to fail as long as you fail fast and you fail forward, right? Since you talked about an example, we were in NEC together. If you remember the NEC of 2008 and 2012, it was a company that had products, it had some solutions, but it was fairly siloed. There were legacy systems in place.
Very true.
And then around that time frame, I remember the then CEO of NEC launched a process of trying to convert or transform NEC from a box selling to a solution selling company.
Absolutely.
And today, if you see NEC, they focused on creating social value, they focused on creating government solutions by integrating or leveraging digital. They played a role in various smart cities, they played a role around transportation, etc.
Yep.
And I'd say that, hey, after several years, NEC has kind of reinvented itself or transformed itself.
Yep.
Now, this would have not been possible if there was not a leadership mindset, if silos weren't broken, and if legacy ways of doing things weren't challenged.
Yeah.
So here's a classic example of how you've seen an organization transform itself.
Very true. So now I'll bring some new perspective to this discussion, like because in our audience there are many Gen Z community, okay, and as technology is evolving very fast, probably both we agree, like probably 10 years down the line there would be few high demanding job that probably doesn't even exist today, right? So keeping this in mind, the fast-paced technology transformation and new AI tools coming to the picture, so are degree becoming less relevant than skills in the digital era? What's your opinion?
Well, I keep having this discussion with my son, right? He's around 22, 23.
Yep.
And I firmly believe that in today's day and age, a degree is a certification of what you learned. So a degree is in many ways a certification of what you've learned, but skills are the future currency.
Yep.
Right. The fact remains that jobs or roles are evolving faster than curricula.
Yeah.
So it becomes important for all of us, not only Gen Z guys,
Yeah.
to continuously learn, unlearn, and relearn
Yeah.
if we want to stay relevant.
Yeah.
So there are clearly indications that if you do not learn consistently and
Yeah.
upgrade yourself
Yeah.
consistently, there are going to be challenges.
Yes.
And ultimately, I keep reminding myself that experience without relevance will only become an expensive memory.
True.
So you need to continuously add new skills, continuously, be on that learning mode if you want to stay relevant.
So if any junior colleague or colleagues of mine see in our trend, what happens, like, we complete our graduation, take some industry exposure, take a sabbatical, go for the higher studies, come back and join the industry. That kind of trend we have seen in the past. Any junior colleague of yours comes to you and asks the straightforward question, sir, do you want me to go for the higher studies, or I should learn some skills to upgrade myself? Which one will you suggest and why?
I think I would always suggest that learn some new skills. And again, you've got to continuously learn new skills, right? The fact remains that, and I was reading this book by a famous author called 𝐒𝐴𝐵𝐺𝐸𝐺 called Career 3.0.
Yes, yes.
Right? And in that book, he says that, hey, the future is going to be about having a portfolio career.
Yes.
I think we've seen a major inflection point during COVID or post-COVID, right? Suddenly the old norms of, hey, you need to be in the office to work, have changed. Work is no longer a place, work is outcomes and results, right? And you're suddenly seeing more and more people do multiple things, right?
Very true.
So I think it's all about acquiring new skills and having a portfolio career where you continuously move with the wave.
Well, coming back to the technology and innovation part of it, in today's world of digital transformation, do you think like the legacy systems truly coexist with innovation?
That's a good question, actually. I think legacy systems can coexist as long as they serve the future and don't protect the past.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of innovative companies that modernize or innovate in layers. So you keep the core still there,
Yep.
but you experiment around the edges.
Yep.
Right? Frankly, it's not so much a challenge about legacy systems,
Yep.
but it's about the legacy mindset and the legacy ways of doing things that need to change.
Very true. And is adapting AI a competitive advantage or it's a survival, in your opinion, in today's world?
Well, to me, AI is like putting salt in your food.
Okay.
Right? It's a must-have ingredient, at least for us Indians, right? It's a must-have ingredient in your food or a must-have ingredient in your business.
Yeah.
I think companies or individuals that are not adapting AI or adopting AI are those that are going to be in risk or at risk.
True.
The key really is how do you use AI to reimagine or reinvent your business, right?
Yeah.
It's about using AI to enhance operational efficiency.
Yeah.
It's about using AI to enhance productivity.
Yeah.
And then using AI to also kind of enhance customer centricity. If you look at the news articles of the last few days, you've seen suddenly the IT majors really face the heat in India because of Anthropic.
True.
Yesterday, shares of large IT majors fell by 5 points, 8 points.
Yeah.
Now, here's a classic case. Jobs that were first considered, human-centric are being done by AI. So, in many ways, I'm not saying AI is going to make jobs redundant, but there will be new roles that will evolve, and AI is an ingredient that you have to live with and leverage to sustain competitive advantages.
Yeah. Very true. Now coming back to the business model reinvention part of it, how do you know when your business model is becoming outdated? Because most of the time people don't realize that. Probably Hinnoke is the biggest example.
Yeah, I mean, we've always seen this, right? If you really go back into history, since you brought the example of Nokia, right? I think with technology, what's happening is whatever you're doing right today might not be right tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And whatever's working today might not work tomorrow.
Very true.
Right? And classic examples, at least from our times, are Nokia, Kodak, or even BlackBerry.
True.
These were companies that were doing very well in their own times, but they did not look at signs of change or did not reinvent themselves or reinvent their business models, and then they had pressures.
Yeah.
Right? On the other hand, if you see organizations like Microsoft, and I was in Microsoft for a few years.
Yeah.
When Satya Nadella came over as the CEO, he in many ways reinvented Microsoft. They moved from the legacy PC-focused Windows licenses to a cloud-focused or a cloud-first approach, a connected cloud approach, and now they have a strategy revolving around AI, right?
Yeah.
And they brought this change, Ramya, essentially not only by integrating technology, but also driving a cultural shift from know-alls, from being that arrogant know-all culture to some company that says, hey, I want to learn it all.
Yep.
And I think that's the key.
Well, going to the culture and the change management part of Reinvention, my next question to you, why do you think most of the transformational initiatives fail?
Very often I've seen, Ramya, that companies or organizations think that, hey, we are going to drive transformation, and then they bring in digital tools, digital processes. They look towards tweaking the organization structure, and they believe, hey, we are on the path to transformation. But in reality, if you don't have the mindset, the commitment, and exhibit the right behavior, starting from the top, I've seen transformation initiatives fail.
Yeah.
Right? To build on this, very often, I've also seen that whilst we talk of transformation, the leadership actions, the incentive structures, they still continue to reward the old ways of thinking.
Yeah.
And that's a red flag.
Yeah.
From a people perspective, if people or the employees in the organization feel that, hey, this is work to be done rather than work that I'm enjoying doing, then the transformation initiative will only be a PowerPoint presentation and will not be converted into
Absolutely,
reality.
absolutely. Fully agree with you, Rajiv. So, next question is a little specific and interesting. Listen to it very carefully. What industries are most at risk if they don't reinvent now?
Again, I think every company, as I said in the beginning, is a digital company.
Yep.
And every industry needs to be looking at integrating digital and in many ways reinventing the ways of doing business. So I wouldn't kind of categorize one particular industry. I think every industry needs to be looking at those so-called weak signals and looking at it as an indication to reinvent themselves.
Yep. Next question is little futuristic in nature. What will staying relevant look like in 2030, in your opinion?
Well, staying relevant, let me rephrase this answer. If you've got to be staying relevant, you need to have the DNA of learning. So when I mean, if you want to stay relevant, it means being a lifelong learner. It'll be adopting new skills.
Yeah.
And I remember our conversation just now when we were having a stroll outside. And for people like at my stage of my career, I think it becomes crucial that one keeps developing new skills.
Yep.
It could be skills around music.
Yep.
It could be skills around a sport that I want to play.
Yep.
It could be skills around what's the new technology and how it's driving inflection points.
Yep.
So I think whether it's in 2030 or 2040 or whatever, its skills will always remain the new currency.
Yeah.
So you've got to keep acquiring new skills to stay relevant. Again, I was reading this book, right, Career 3.0 by 𝐒𝐿, and there he says that the half-life of the skills is reducing. So almost every 5 years, if you don't acquire a new skill, you will be getting yourself into a retirement mode.
Absolutely, it's a continuous process. I mean, as industry evolves, technology evolves, you have to stay relevant and updated, and learning should be continuous. It cannot be a kind of one-time learning and keep quiet for the rest of your life. Yeah, thank you very much, Rajiv, for joining us today. It was really amazing conversation with you. Any specific and last message to our audience of this podcast? It would be anything.
Well, I'm first of all really delighted to be here, and I'm delighted to see how you've reinvented yourself. I think we worked together in NEC and in Barpo, and the Ramya of 2008 and the Ramya of 2026 why I salute you how you've reinvented yourself. But my key message really is that in today's day and age, you've got to stop viewing change as a disruption. You've got to start looking at change as a constant that you've got to design for.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you once again.